What if I told you that training a single AI model can use more energy than a small town consumes in a year? It's a staggering fact that's made me rethink the true cost of artificial intelligence. I've always been fascinated by the potential of AI to transform our lives, but it's only recently that I've started to consider the environmental impact of this technology. As I began to dig deeper, I discovered that the process of training AI models requires massive amounts of computing power. This power is typically provided by data centers, which are essentially giant warehouses filled with servers that crunch numbers day and night. It's like having a huge factory that's always running, but instead of producing cars or clothes, it's producing complex mathematical models that can recognize patterns and make predictions. And the energy required to keep these factories running is enormous. But here's the thing, we're not just talking about any old energy source. We're talking about the kind of energy that's typically generated by burning fossil fuels, which contributes to climate change. It's like we're trying to create a more sustainable future with AI, but the process of creating that future is actually making our environmental problems worse. And that's a pretty tough pill to swallow. As someone who's passionate about technology, I have to admit that it's made me question my own assumptions about the role of AI in our lives. As I've been learning more about this issue, I've started to think about it in terms of a real-world analogy. Imagine you're building a house, and you need to choose between two different types of construction materials. One material is super efficient and will save you money in the long run, but it's really expensive to produce and generates a lot of waste. The other material is cheaper to produce, but it's not as efficient and will cost you more money over time. That's kind of like the choice we're facing with AI energy. We can either go for the quick fix and ignore the environmental costs, or we can take a more sustainable approach and invest in renewable energy sources. And it's not just about the energy itself, it's about the infrastructure that supports it. Data centers are typically located in areas with cheap electricity, which often means they're powered by coal or gas. It's like we're creating these massive industrial complexes that are contributing to the very problem we're trying to solve. But what if we could change that? What if we could create data centers that are powered by renewable energy, like solar or wind power? It's not a pipe dream, there are already companies working on this kind of technology. As I've been exploring this topic, I've come across some pretty surprising statistics. For example, did you know that the carbon footprint of training a single AI model can be equivalent to the annual emissions of several hundred cars? It's a staggering number that's made me realize just how important it is to think about the environmental impact of our technology. And it's not just about the environment, it's about the social implications too. As AI becomes more pervasive in our lives, we need to think about the kind of world we want to create. Do we want a world where technology is sustainably powered, or one where it's driven by fossil fuels? Now, I know some of you might be thinking, but isn't AI going to help us solve some of the world's most pressing environmental problems? And you're right, AI can be a powerful tool for sustainability. For example, it can help us optimize energy usage, predict weather patterns, and even monitor wildlife populations. But the key is to make sure that the AI itself is sustainably powered. It's like the old saying goes, you can't have your cake and eat it too. If we want to use AI to create a more sustainable future, we need to make sure that the process of creating that future isn't actually making things worse. As I've been reflecting on this issue, I've started to think about the role of individual responsibility. Can we, as consumers, make a difference by choosing to support companies that prioritize sustainability? Or is this a problem that's too big for us to tackle on our own? I think it's a bit of both, to be honest. While it's true that individual actions can add up, it's also clear that we need systemic change to address this issue. We need companies, governments, and individuals to work together to create a more sustainable future. In many ways, this is a classic case of the tragedy of the commons. We all want to benefit from the power of AI, but we don't want to pay the environmental costs. It's like we're all sharing a big house, and we're all contributing to the mess, but nobody wants to take responsibility for cleaning it up. But here's the thing, I'm actually really hopeful about the future. I think that as we become more aware of the hidden costs of training AI, we'll start to see some real innovation in this space. We'll see companies developing new types of sustainable data centers, and researchers working on more efficient AI algorithms. And we'll see individuals making conscious choices about the kind of technology they support. It's like we're at a turning point, where we can choose to create a more sustainable future, or we can continue down the path of environmental degradation. As I look to the future, I'm reminded of another analogy that might help illustrate this point. Imagine you're on a road trip, and you're trying to get to a beautiful national park. But as you're driving, you realize that the road you're on is actually destroying the very environment you're trying to visit. It's like we're on a journey to a sustainable future, but the road we're taking is actually paved with fossil fuels. And that's a pretty uncomfortable feeling. And that's what's so interesting about this topic. It's not just about the technology itself, it's about the values we bring to it. Do we value convenience and speed above all else, or do we value sustainability and environmental responsibility? It's a question that gets to the heart of who we are as humans, and what kind of world we want to create. As someone who's passionate about technology, I have to admit that I've been guilty of prioritizing convenience over sustainability in the past. But the more I learn about this issue, the more I realize that we need to think about the long-term consequences of our actions. As we move forward, I think we'll see a lot of experimentation and innovation in this space. We'll see companies trying out new types of sustainable data centers, and researchers working on more efficient AI algorithms. And we'll see individuals making conscious choices about the kind of technology they support. It's like we're entering a new era of sustainability, where technology and environment are no longer mutually exclusive. And that's a really exciting prospect. Because when you think about it, the environment and technology are not opposing forces, they're intertwined. The health of our planet is directly tied to the technology we use, and the technology we use is directly tied to the health of our planet. It's like they're two sides of the same coin. So as we look to the future, I think we need to ask ourselves some tough questions. What kind of world do we want to create? Do we want a world where technology is sustainably powered, or one where it's driven by fossil fuels? As I finish up this video, I'm left with a thought-provoking question: can we create a future where AI is both powerful and sustainable? It's a question that I don't have the answer to, but it's one that I think we should all be thinking about. And if you're as curious as I am about the intersection of technology and environment, then join me on this journey of exploration and discovery. I'm excited to see where this conversation takes us, and I'm looking forward to hearing your thoughts and ideas in the comments below. So if you want to stay up to date on the latest developments in AI and sustainability, be sure to subscribe to this channel.